Hello everyone, this is Venom, and we are back with another Destiny 2 video. Now today's video is going to be a lot dirtier than normal. I am actually back for the evening. My wife just gave birth to our son. Mama Venom and Baby Venom are both doing wonderfully. I had to come back to take care of our daughter and take care of the cats and everything for the night, so I am back for the night, but I wanted to go ahead and bring you guys a video before I head to sleep. So I'm checking baby monitors, I'm checking cats, I'm all over the place right now. So I want to bring you guys a video for this, again, dirty video. I can't even concentrate. I'm very sleep deprived. Today I want to talk about all the confirmed effects for the exotic class armor coming out for Prismatic. I'm emphasizing exotic because I recorded this damn video yesterday, and I went through and edited it. I realized I was a moron, and every time I should have said the word exotic, I said legendary. Like 8 times I kept saying legendary instead of exotic. And I was like, you know what, after the third time I was like, I'm an idiot. We're going to re-record this thing. So, that's why today is going to be a little bit dirtier, a little bit less edited than normal, but you guys get to see what I usually sound like without all the editing. So that's going to be just great for you guys. So, throughout the dev stream or throughout the developer video, we got to see that there were going to be different exotic abilities that are going to be coming with our class items. The class items will be randomly rolled, and they will be able to get 2 class items or 2, exotic abilities from different exotic items and not necessarily from your class. You can get, as a hunter, a Syntheseps roll along with, maybe a Coyote roll. Now, they don't actually say that this is like Spirit of the Coyote or, Spirit of Syntheseps. So, there seems to be a pool of effects you can choose from. Now, there are a couple of schools of thoughts onto the effects that there are, and I'm going to go through the ones that we have here. It seems most of the effects are neutral. They seem to be class neutral and subclass neutral. That being that, the effects would kind of work on any class and they wouldn't be tied to specific aspects. Like, for example, I'm going to go right in here. Of course, I don't know where anything is at in collections because I am tired as crap right now. And I got to do it live here. So for example, we're probably not going to see something like a Briarbinds effect. Now, the Briarbinds are something that works specifically for the Warlock with Childs of the Old God. Now, you're not going to see that effect on, the Hunter or the Titan, and you're not even going to see this one on the Warlock because their prismatic ability is going to be Feed the Beast. It's not going to be the Child of the Old God. So this effect would not work for the Warlock or any other class. So this would be one that would be very specific to that subclass and to that actual class. This would not be a neutral one. Now, an example of a good neutral one would be, let's take a look here. What would be an example one? Oh, there we go. Crown of Tempest. That'd probably be a pretty good neutral one. It says arc abilities or jolt final blows increase the recharge rate of your arc abilities. Now, the second part of that would be it extends the duration of Storm Trance. You could take the first half of that and make a neutral the second half, maybe not. So it could be an example of a good one. It could not be. The exotics that we're getting are not the full exotic effect too, so keep that one in mind. They were like the first half of the effect, or like they were dialed down effect. So they're not the actual perfect effect, but they're going to be part of it, and it seems to be like the main part of it. So like the sub parts of it don't seem to be showing up, but so far from what I've seen, it does not matter. Now, confirmed in the VITA, confirmed in the video, we have got 6 that were confirmed pretty much out loud or showed on screen, and I've actually got a Reddit post here. I'm going to bring it up real quick. Now, I will have the link for this down in the description below. Sorry, checking baby monitor while I'm doing this. I will have the link to this down in the description below. This was put out by Hakmuna Mata, and they actually went through frame by frame and found all these other effects as well. I'm going to go through them here in just a second. But before I do that, I'm going to go through the effects that they did kind of talk about already. And the first one is going to be for the Warlock. It was the Ophidian, where are you at right there? It's an arm piece. I don't know why. There we go. Now, the first one that we saw was the Ophidian, the Spirit of the Ophidian, and it was the weapons ready and reload very quickly. That's the only effect that it showed on there. Now, the second effect was provides a small benefit to the airborne effectiveness stat of all weapons. That part wasn't on there. So, again, these are dialed back effects. Only the weapon ready and reload speed were on there. Sorry. Again, this is going to be a very down and dirty video because I only have so much time to make it. But this was the first one that was actually shown in the VITA. Now, 4 were actually shown, and then 2 were described, so keep that one in mind. The next one was going to be the Hunter. We're going to go in, and it was actually the Spirit of the Star Eater. Now, that, of course, was the Star Eater scales, and it seemed to show most of the effect on it. It said you gain additional super energy from orbs, or I think it was you get additional power from it, but it did have these Star Eater scales on there. So, Spirit of Star Eater was one. We also saw the 6 Coyote as well. This is one that was actually described to us. This one was not shown, but one of the devs actually told us that he got an exotic with a second dodge charge. So that one was the 6 Coyote. Now, this one's important because this could go one of 2 ways. Either this is going to be one, and sorry, I got to change my alarm here. Now, this one can go one of two ways. So this is either going to be one that gives us a second dodge charge specifically, which means that there still will be class-specific exotics that you can roll for your class along with the pool itself, or this one may actually read in-game, you get a second class ability. We don't know because this is one that was described to us. We did not get to see that one. So this one could go one of two ways. So the spirit of the sixth was mentioned, but we don't know this exact effect yet, so keep that one in mind. Next one was and this is going to be one that could be one of two. Now, the effect was powered melee, final blows, cause ignitions. To me, this could be one of two. It's either going to be the Calibrant's Hand, and that one is right here. And it says right here, this one specifically says your proximity knife scorches targets and damages with explosions, or ignites targets on final blow. It could be this one, but, and this is a but, to me, I think that one is more than likely going to be the Severance Enclosure. Now, the actual effect that it showed was powered melee final blows cause targets to ignite. Now, again, this could be Severance Enclosure. This could be the Calibrant's Hand. Either one of those will work. Now, personally, I hope it's a Severance Enclosure, but really, from a practical standpoint, it doesn't really matter which one it is. Now, all of the class abilities, or the class melees, all the abilities really have been retuned to work with Prismatic. So let's say, for example, I use a solar melee and get a kill, yeah, it'll probably ignite, but if I do something like a stasis melee, it will probably slow or freeze enemies instead, so it more likely works with that. But again, this ability could be the Calibrant's Hand, it could be the Severance Enclosure. Personally, I hope for the Severance Enclosure, and I actually hope that it has the second portion of it too, although I doubt it does because most of these exotics only have the one part of it. Now, I hope that it is the Severance Enclosure, and I'm hoping beyond hope that it has both effects, because the Severance Enclosure actually has a second effect, and that is that finishers also cause explosions. Now, again, I don't think it's got that. I think it just listed the explosion part on there, so more likely just going to have the explosion part and not the second part. Alright, now next up, we have got the Spirit of the Assassin. Now, this is one that I'm really looking forward to. This is going to be the Assassin's Cowl. And that one actually said that powered melee final blows grant invisibility and restore health and shields. It's going to be one I'm going to actually have on my build. I'm going to be hoping to get some Assassin's Cowl rolls for my hunter, because we're actually going to be missing some fragments that help us turn invisible. So this is going to help work around that. And then finally, we have the Spirit of the Synthoceps. This is, of course, a Titan arm exotic. There we go. And it says, when you're surrounded, gain increased melee and super damage, as well as improved weapon handling and reload speed. This one's just going to give you the melee damage. I did list this one in game. So, those are the 6 that I actually talked about in game. But again, the Redditor actually went through and they found all the other effects that were listed. I'm going to go ahead and read those off as well. Again, link will be down below. I'm just going to go ahead and read this post verbatim. It says, rewatch the stream basically frame by frame. Here's everything. I found these perks tend to lean towards subclass neutral effects. However, that's not a firm rule. Again, that's what I've noticed. It seems as though the perks that we're going to get are going to be subclass neutral, and I'd say class neutral, but I still don't know about that one. But it seems as though subclass neutral is what we're looking at. Now, it says we got the Spirit of Ophidian. Again, that's the one where all weapons ready faster. Spirit of Star Eater, while your super is full, orbs overcharge your super, granting bonus damage. That's the main and most important part of that, the Star Eater skill effect. Spirit of Assassin, powered melee kills and finishers turn invisible. I mean, that right there would be perfect. That's exactly what I want. Spirit of Synthoceps, increased melee damage while surrounded, be perfect. Spirit of Liar's Handshake, and it's got a question mark there, and it actually showed, showed a cross counter on UI buff despite Hunter not wearing any known visual armor. So basically, the cross counter buff showed up on the UI. That's how he's, assuming that Liar's Handshake is one of them. So yeah, very good, looking out there. Spirit of Verity's Brow. Looks like Death Throws was one of the buffs that popped up. For those who don't know, Verity's Brow is a grenade exotic that as you get grenade kills, you're going to get some stacks of Death Throws, which enhance your grenades and your allies' grenades as well. Now, next up, we got the Spirit Heart of Inmost Light. That's going to be a very good exotic. And it showed empowered abilities. For those who don't know, the Heart of Inmost Light was a staple, and still is a good exotic, don't get me wrong, but was a staple for Titans that actually, whenever you used any of your abilities, would empower the other abilities. So you use your grenade, it would empower your ripped and your melee. You use your melee, it would empower, or I say your ripped, your barricade and your melee, sorry. You use your melee, it would empower your barricade and your grenade, and use your grenade, it would empower your melee and your barricade. So, it looks like that's going to be showing up as well. And this was showing on a Hunter, by the way. Next up, Spirit of Caliban. It says powered melee kills cause an ignition. I didn't see this one myself, but again, it doesn't really matter if it's going to be power or this one or the chest piece. As long as they're getting ignitions on powered melee kills, it's all that matters because they both essentially do the same thing. It's just the second ability and the ignition type that matters. And by ignition type, of course, I mean whether we're going to actually have ignitions or we're going to have something like slow or unraveled or whatever else your subclass ability would be. Now, next up, we got the the Spirit of Six Coyote, gain a second dodge charge. Again, this is the one I was talked about before. This is the one where I think it might be actual, this might actually be your class ability charge, not an actual dodge charge. Again, until I get a visual on this one, we don't know yet if this is still just a neutral, class neutral one, or if this is one to where you can actually roll for your class as well as the other pool as well. We'll see. Next up, we got the Spirit of the Stag. It says gain 2 resistance upon casting your class ability. And then there's a speculative one in there. I'm not going to worry about it too much, but it looks like Spirit of the Stag was the last one that really kind of took off. So that's what we're looking at right now as far as confirmed or semi-confirmed exotic effects for the exotic class items. So there's some really good effects on here. Some of these are going to be just great. Some of these are going to be really good damage boosting effects that we've never got to see on other classes before. Like, for example, I want you to just imagine here, Star Eater scales on a Warlock using Cataclysm. Think about the nutty quick DPS for that one. Because not only are you going to have huge DPS on that, you can then turn around and continue using your weapons too. Cataclysm is a great DPS super because you can just fire it and get right back into your rotation with your weapons. As long as you don't hit the Cataclysm. Keep that one in mind though. But there are some very, very crazy exotic combinations we're going to be coming up with. My next videos are going to be going over some of those exotic combinations. Some of the exotics that I'm putting together for the builds I'm making are going to be to get past some of the issues that we're going to have. Now, one of the things that we speculated when we saw Prismatic before we got to see all the abilities we're going to actually have access to was whether or not we would have access to all the abilities or not. We don't. We have access to one aspect from each subclass. And, I mean, for the most part, they're pretty good, but there are some that really kind of work together that we're really going to be missing. So, for example, Style Executioner is the aspect we've got for the Hunter. But we do not have the Vanishing Step or the Trapper's Ambush. Vanishing Step and Trapper's Ambush were both excellent ways to turn invisible without needing an enemy kill to do so. They were the only real neutral ways you had to do it without having an enemy at low health or, kill a certain way. So we don't have that anymore. So we have the ability to continuously proc our invisibility using Style Executioner. We can no longer neutrally go invisible, so some of the exotic combinations we're going to be looking at are going to be to allow us to do that. Another one we're not going to have access to is going to be the Echo of Obscurity. This is the one that allows us to turn invisible with a finisher. We're not going to have access to this fragment either because, again, the fragments for Prismatic are going to be different than all the other fragments. They got their own very specific ones. I got to go back and look at the ones you unlock again. I would do it. The videos would show the ones you're going to start off with. I have not taken a huge deep look at the others yet. The aspects, yes. The fragments, I have not messed with them too much. It's just a lot to go over, so. But that's what I'm going to be going over here soon in the next videos. Today I just want to go over all of the confirmed and semi-confirmed abilities we're going to have for the exotic class items. Again, we do not have a definitive pool of them yet. Hopefully those will come out at some point. We can take a look and really start build crafting. They may wait and go ahead and make it a surprise for when Final Shape comes out. We'll see. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Again, I'm sorry for the bit of a rush video. I know this one is not highly edited. You guys got to see kind of how much I stutter and how much I, do weird takes and shit on the screen. It like I said, not very edited, but I am a little sleep deprived right now, and I'm going to go to bed right after this and bring my son home in the morning along with my lovely wife, so I cannot wait. So, thank you all for coming by. Please like the video if you like what we're doing here. Sub if you love it. And I will see you guys on the next video.